We are back, baby. Hello and welcome to the Fit Fuzz podcast, episode number 60 something. 66. I'm sure it's 66. What's happening, Kyle? How are you?
Glad you're sure, mate, because I don't have a clue.
Aye, mate, it's been a while, innit?
How long has it been? Like a month and a half? Longer?
Aye, we'd originally planned to take all of May off, and we ended up taking all of June off as well, so it's actually been 2 months.
You've created a human being since then, mate?
Well, I actually created a human being about 11 months ago.
Well, yours got to a success level. I tried to create a human being and only made it 3 months, and then
Oh, mate.
it's a strong start to the podcast.
Mate, fucking hell. Oh, but
Don't undermine your own success, mate.
so yes, mate, my life has dramatically changed. The wee man is 6.5 weeks, which is why we extended the break that we were having. Things were just getting a bit too much, a bit too overwhelming, and we didn't want to just put out shitty podcast episodes just for the sake of putting episodes out. So yeah, mate, it's been fucking nuts on my end. Talk me through how the last couple of months has been for you.
I think in agreement with you to give listeners some context, I think in the very back end of Rachel being pregnant and getting towards the birth, like you were definitely struggling with time and energy, but then I hadn't announced at the time that Jen was also pregnant and diabetic and was going through a really rough time. As I'm kind of probably made the dark joke at the start, but didn't make it through. But you could probably tell how difficult the pregnancy was, actually how difficult a time it was. So I think from my end was struggling as well, and we got to the point where we're like trying to keep the podcast going, but like both of us were running on empty, and it was just a case where like we're not wanting to just put out poor podcast episodes, not intentionally anyway. If they're poor, at least they're poor by design.
Aye, aye,
Default.
aye.
But I was going to say that's kind of we got there, but you know what? Things are good at the moment. Went to Ibiza, a wee business trip, which was nice. That was well needed after everything that we were going through. Finn started walking on the Ibiza trip. He's now swaggering about everywhere. He's got like the wee Conor McGregor swagger on him as well. And he's terrorising us, mate. It's true when they say that wee guys just try and kill themselves because every time you turn round, he's just trying to end his own life by jumping off something or trying to eat something he shouldn't. He was trying to eat, what was it? He was trying to eat part of the stove the other day. And I was like, that's going to kill you, wee man.
Excellent. I'll get this to look forward to. Listen, you didn't need to share what you just shared, and I know what I said to say, but I'm so extremely sorry to hear about your experiences over the last few months. But it is good to see you in a good place at the minute and thriving. The wee man seems to be thriving as well, which is class as always. But yeah, mate, I am not looking forward to this walking stage. The wee man, like Freddie's already trying to do mad shit. Like, see how fast he throws his head back. Oh my, it's terrifying. See if you've got him on your arms and he'll just fucking launch himself back or to the side.
Has he
Oh,
headbutted you yet?
eh?
Has he headbutted you yet?
Oh, on a daily basis.
Yeah, mate, I've actually Jen ended up with a black eye at one point, which was to be fair, mate, I was worried because I'm like, I'm going to end up getting the blame for this as well.
Aye.
Swung a right hook at her.
Mhm. I don't know if you seen my story yesterday, but the new norm for me is literally just walking about with bogies and slabbers on my shoulder.
Mate, did I see your story? I have been practicing for years.
Oh, so you oh, so you did. You commented on
It's
it.
it's fine, mate, but that life, you forget what happens. But yeah, mate, no, I have seen it, and you're absolutely right. I made a similar story like early on in my dad career, where I was like, I had the cats, the dog, and Finn. Between the hairs, the slabbers, the bogies, and the food, I'm just like, not a chance. Not got a
Yeah.
chance.
But like my life right now is slabbers on the shoulders and wiping shite off people's arses or things arses because we need to clean Bear's arse when he goes for a shit as well because he can't clean it himself. So literally my day is just wiping shite.
Mate, I'm not going to lie, I can relate to that. Some mornings Rocky decides that he's just going for a shit in the living room, so I walk down a shit to clean up, and then you're then got the empty cat litter, and then you've got to deal with the wee man, and I'm just like, think before I've had my breakfast in the morning, I've cleared 7 shite. Before I've had my own shite, 7 shites.
Mate, living the dream, man. Hashtag fucking da life.
If anybody's sitting thinking about conceiving a child and you've not got one already, then this is probably enough to put you off.
Oh no, aye. Yes and no. I'll be honest, man. It's completely life changing, obviously. But it's the best way I can describe it. And I heard someone else use this quote, so I'm unashamedly stealing this. But unashamedly, is that what? Am I making up words here?
It's too early in the morning for me to correct.
Anyway, the best way I can describe it is it's filled a hole in my heart that I didn't know I had.
Oh, that is deep, mate. You could have claimed that one and I gave you it, but yeah, nice.
Aye, that's it. Genuinely, like when people ask what it's like, how it feels, that since I've heard that quote, I'm like fucking jackpot. Like the feeling that I've had since the wee man was born is undescribable. No one can put any words. You've went through this yourself as well, mate. Like no one can put any words. The emotions behind it, the feelings of pride, and a sense of achievement as well. It's fucking sensational.
Do you know what, mate? For me, it just puts a lot of things into reflection. Like, I changed a lot of my behaviours because of the
Hmm.
wee man, and behaviours I didn't think I was going to change. I haven't drank in 11 months. I very much am there in the evening times. I have weekends where I'm like, just make sure that I'm like, I know people talk about being present, but I'm like, you've got no choice, but you have to
Hmm.
be present.
Yep.
Me and Jen are very much against the fact that you just give them, like I see so many parents giving people iPads and stuff, and
Oh yeah.
I'm not fully like I think technology is something we're all going to have to live with, and I do think there are positives to it. But I'm like, you just see them every time that like they're getting upset, or whatever, giving them an iPad, and if anything, we're fighting against that and going, do you know what? We just need to either entertain him or let him have huffs or listen to what he's been saying or whatever.
Yep.
So I'm joking on
Oh my God.
joking, mate. They're deaf in the podcast.
Are you alright, man?
Man, I tell you what, I paid €1.66 for my breakfast and it's
Oh,
gonna kill me here. Oh, Jesus. I know
that
we
came out
talk.
of nowhere, mate.
That's almost came, a bit of quinoa almost came out my nose here. You should never have quinoa for breakfast, Jesus. Oh.
Speaking of quinoa, tell the listeners what you had for your breakfast this morning.
Saying that to Gary, I was like, I was running late after the gym for it was rush hour, so I was like, had to stop quickly at the local shop to get myself breakfast. And instead of paying £6 for a pre-made oat pot, I was like, do you know what? I'll go to the reduced section. I seen some packeted barbecue chicken for 66 cents, and I seen some quinoa, carrot, and broccoli salad for €1. So I was like, I'll put them both together. I've put them both together, and firstly, it tastes dry and rotten. But then it's almost killed me. I didn't expect a near-death experience. Hit my
You
protein.
get a fucking throat like the Sahara Desert now after eating it, man.
It's like shrapnel in there, mate.
Dude, no wonder you're choking on a bit of quinoa.
I don't think I'm done yet, mate. This podcast could be interrupted by a few coughs on my side.
Speaking of behaviour changes, I can relate to that fully. Like, obviously before the wee man was here, I was fucking up to high do. We work stressed, didn't really have much time for myself. I've managed to find time. Like you just do it, don't you? You just find a way. I've managed to find time for me, and also me and Rach have never spent so much time together.
How are you finding that?
Amazing.
Good.
Like we are just so much calmer, so much happier. We don't feel like we're just passing ships in the night. Granted, the time we spend together it is watching Love Island, but it's still something.
Oh, well, let's get into that, mate.
Oh yes, you
I've,
know watching it.
no, I've not been watching, mate. I say this every year. Jesus. Yeah. Yeah.
Quinoa cough.
I was going to say, I'm going to see if I can get AI to scrub out me coughing and that podcast. But no, mate, in all of the years that I was doing in-person PT, I always knew Love Island was on because people always spoke to me about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to have to make a conscious effort to watch it. I'm not going to sit and say that I've never seen a full episode. I think I have, but I've just never actually sat and watched like it in sequence or with context. For me, it looks the most mind-numbing thing. But I will say, I did get roped into watching Married at First Sight Australia, and now every year that's on, I'm like, I am the person that's like, I'm watching that, and it's probably the same thing. So tell me your thoughts on Love Island. What's it like?
So I didn't start watching it until it was like 2.5, 3 weeks in. They're into the fifth week now, I believe. And I was in the living room with my laptop doing a wee bit of work, and Rachel had it on the TV. And you know that way I was sitting behind the laptop, and I could just feel my eyes like getting drawn up to the TV. And then I started asking questions about it, and I'm like, but who's he meant to be coupled up with, and who's that, and whatever. And then before you know it, the laptop was done. I was asking her to pause it whilst I went for a piss.
Do you know my issues with it isn't actually the thing because essentially it's just Big Brother and the Sun. But I think when I look at it, my issue is they tend to pick models, the best looking
Yes.
people, and I don't know. There's just a large part of people who are good looking, who know they're good looking in the
Yep.
life that they live, that is an ick for me, and I find it very difficult to want to.
So vain.
Yeah, I'm so against all of that that I'm like, I don't know. I refuse to almost watch it. But
Mate, let me see a fat guy for Glasgow laugh somebody into bed. That's what I want to see. It's
mate,
essentially what they've got. It's soft porn. That's all it is. It's soft porn.
I used to enjoy Big Brother when it first came out because it had normal people. And then they started doing the opposite where they were just getting the strangest people available. And you're talking about people like that was like they just opened up Sucky Hall Street and threw them all into Big Brother. Um, it was it was a strange thing, but you could tell they were just picking increasingly weird people to go on. Whereas Love Island, it's like you're not getting normal people in there, and because it's not normal people, I'm not really that interested in it. To be
Mhm.
honest, it's exactly the brand of people I don't like. Like, see, when you somebody sent me this, one of my clients sent me this from a CrossFit gym where they were like, he was like, I was at this class this morning, and you see at the end of it, there's six guys with their top off, but they're all posing like bodybuilders at
Oh yes.
pictures. Like, he's like, you can tell I wasn't invited to go into that picture. I was like, you know what? That's everything that I dislike about fitness. Like, they're not doing that for the enjoyment of doing CrossFit. Essentially, they're doing
Yeah.
fucking bodybuilding and just using that as an outlet to get their tops off and
Aye.
have status. Not
I
for
think it's. I think it can be a bad thing for body image as well. Love Island, because when you look at all the guys, they're all fucking jacked. They're all absolutely huge. And then you look at the girls, and 90% of them are built like the side of a fiver. Do you know what I mean? Um, so for people that don't have the best body image, like from the get-go, they're going to be watching that and thinking, I've no fucking no chance.
I'm going to take a leap here, but have you seen the difference? Are you talking about body image? Have you seen the image distortion between Hugh Jackman, and I was going to say Star Wars Episode 2, X-Men 2, back in 2003 versus him in the new Wolverine, oh sorry, the new Deadpool film?
Nah.
Right, Google it. Like, it's just Hugh Jackman, X-Men 2 versus Hugh Jackman and Deadpool. And, mate, the difference in terms of what he actually looks like. Back in 2003, mate, he looked. Nobody questioned the fact he looked like Wolverine. But, like, he's not got an ab on him. He just looks like a.
Yeah. Oh, aye, holy shit.
Yeah, mate, there's. If you want to know what body image inflation looks like, mate, that's the one to look at. Like,
Wow.
but mate, that's a gradual process. That's happened over years where we've just got more and more used to the fact that like people look like that. You look at fucking Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 2, it's not dissimilar, mate. He's looking like you would like, oh yeah, he's Spider-Man. Whereas I'm not saying Tom Holland's got muscles on him, but nowadays you would need somebody like that has proper, decent, lean, defined muscles
Yeah.
to
Mate,
play.
that's absolutely blown my mind because back in X-Men days, Hugh Jackman is jacked.
Yeah, mate, 100%.
For anybody listening and don't know what we're talking about, just do it. Type it in Hugh Jackman versus the Wolverine 2000 and X-Men in 2024 as Wolverine. Obviously 24 years older, but holy fuck. And that is, you're right, mate, that's just the norm. Like, that's what we expect now, especially when we're watching films and superhero films like that. We just expect them to be these big, huge, fucking jacked people. Pardon me, did you hear that?
I did, mate.
Fuck. You've got the coughs and I've got the burps. Big roided up fucking maniacs.
Well, the people didn't know now that we're back in fit with us. We're doing an ASMR. Well,
Do you know what I was trying to do, mate? I was trying to get my sentence out before it came.
tremendous. I'm not going to make that one up.
Oh my God, man. Another fucking car crash of an episode, but I'm here for it.
Do you know what I noticed actually, but based on body image, is like I have people within my coaching service that I know that's probably always been a thing, but like I've got people who you look at them, I'm like, you now have abs and you have pecs and you have shoulders, but they're still going. Oh, they're sending pictures. It's like when you go to barbers and you send you like I used to go in with pictures of Cristiano Ronaldo going, I want my hair cut like that, and then realised I wasn't Portuguese, had greasy curly hair either. Like I've got the straightest, thickest hair of all time. So the barbers just used to laugh at me. But like sometimes you get people that are like, no, I want to look like this, and it's pictures of like genuinely getting pictures of like Chris Hemsworth and stuff. I'm like, you do
Yeah.
know that he doesn't look like that. Like he
Yeah.
looked like that for 3 days under the best possible lighting, under like technically filtering. Um, if you look at Chris Hemsworth on a day to day basis, like whilst I don't imagine he's in terrible shape, like he's still in tremendous shape. Like he's still in
Yeah.
tremendous shape, but it doesn't look the way he did in four. And also gear, performance,
Oh, plenty
drugs.
of it.
Like
Plenty of it. And same as like all these popular fucking influencer, fitfluencer, whatever you want to call them, dickheads, they don't look like that year round as well. See all the photos and stuff that they're using throughout the year, they'll do all that in the space of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Get the best lighting, get in the best possible shape as they can, and then just use the same photos from a number of photo shoots that they have in such a short space of time for 365 days.
mate, I actually, some part of me, I'm like, I know it's not their fault, but I'm like, that's disrespectful because I'm like, I've trained year in, year out for the last 10 to 15 years, at least on average 3 times a week for 15 years. I went through a fat loss phase to go and do a photo shoot and was in the best possible shape that I could have been and still didn't look anything like Chris Hemsworth, and that's after
Yeah.
15 years of training. Like, you're coming to me and after 3 months, what I look like it and you're disappointed you don't. I'm like,
Aye.
fucking not a chance. Like,
That's the thing, like 3 months is not enough time to do shit. 3 months is enough time to do a quick fat loss phase blast, like rapid fat loss, but it's not enough time to change your habits, habits that you've built up over years and years and years. It's not enough time to get you in the shape of your life. I mean, well, the argument could be said that it could be enough time to get you in the shape of your life if you're willing to tick every single box that needs ticked. But then you might be in the best physical shape of your life, but mentally, probably not quite there.
I would say, I agree 100%. I think like 90 days is enough time to see life changing results. But in terms of like, if you are looking at like results that will stay with you for life, you're
Yeah.
probably talking 6 months or onwards and that. I think
Yeah.
sometimes that gets, I mean, it's the fitness industry's fault in the first place. Like we're all being guilty of going, you know what, come into my 90 days, lose 10 kilos, 90 days. Like I've been guilty of doing that, and I actually still stand by the fact I think that has changed people's life. I think most people could do with losing 10 kilos, and it will have a massive impact in their life. But in terms of like you're talking about like in particular men tend when you lose the body fat they don't hold as much muscle mass as what they think they do, so when they have this image of what they're going to look like in their head, it's like they're going to probably look smaller, they're going to not have as much muscle mass as what they think they do, which takes years and years of training to do. I do find that females probably do look a little bit better for the most part, simply because they're not expected to be broad, and then being smaller for a large extent helps. But again, the things that are going to affect your muscle mass tend to be your training history and your genetics. And well, I don't ever like throwing your genetics are the your genetics are a big factor, but they're not the only factor. Your genetics will affect about 50% of your results, but a lot of people can either allow that to dictate the other 50%. Still 50% of stuff that you can do
Yeah.
that brings you forward.
I know genetics are a bastard sometimes.
Mate, it's funny because I get people on board sometimes, and I'm like, they're just so genetically good. It's like
Mm.
you just need to rinse a little bit of a fat loss phase and give them some strength training, and all of a sudden they look great, and you look like a fucking hero, like you've waved a magic wand, and you're like,
Aye.
yeah, it was 100% all me there.
Aye, aye, plaster that right across my socials.
Yeah, but then the opposite hand, you get someone that's like, they everything you do, it's almost like it takes longer, it's harder to do, and they It's people sometimes that lose 10 kilos and they don't look that much better for it. And you're like, right, cool, we've got more work to do. It's probably going to take a little bit more time. But at the same time, that's not to say that they're not making progress. It's just more so you need to measure how that progress is and set expectations alongside it.
That's it. The expectations is the key point of what you were talking about there, in it, because people's expectations are always maybe overestimated, which is a big part of the problem, because if you're over expecting what
Like, mate, what are you saying? What are you
the
saying?
expectations are too high.
I made a off to give you some time.
If your expectations are too high, there's a high chance that you could possibly give up before you actually see the results that you're wanting to see, even though you're on the right track to get those results that you want. Just because it's not happening quick enough for you, then you might be thrown in the till sooner rather than later.
What a point you bring up. I put this up in my story the other day, and it's like, I think when we look at getting results, it actually is as simple as nutrition, training,
Yeah,
movement. Like, I mean, it's no matter what program you follow, what coach you go to, it's literally those are the three things that are going to manipulate your body shape. And it comes down to calories in, calories out, it comes into training load and recovery, and it comes down to how much you move. There's no other way. I'll stand by. There's no other way of changing things. However, what happens is typically at first you need to put in the action to then get momentum. Momentum then leads to motivation. So really, at first you need to do a lot of things that you don't want to do, and the universe will test you to see if it's what you want in the first place. Because a lot of people fucking put in all the action in the first week. It's like your weight went down a kilo, but then jumped back up a kilo and a half, and it's like you've done everything right. You've stopped, instead of having two bottles of wine at the weekend, you've had a glass. But all of a sudden, you've weighed yourself on Monday and you're 0.5 up, even though you were a kilo down 2 days ago. A lot of people are like, well, do you know what? This doesn't work for me. So then they go back to, I'm going to make up for this by then binging even harder,
yeah,
which then ultimately shoots their weight up, and then they can't put more than 5 days together because they then realise their weight's even higher than what it was, so they try again for 4 days. Then they stop for 2 days, 4 days, 2 days. So the big thing is, most people are notoriously terrible at logging food. That isn't necessarily a people issue because it is a skill. It's an underrated skill. It's a very difficult skill to do, which is why it's not for the want of doing it. People just think it's harder than, like, I had a guy and we had a conversation with him, and he was like, "No, it's fine. I didn't know that." But like, he was starting a new job, got a chicken burger, logged it as chicken burger on MyFitnessPal because it gives you the option to log chicken burger. It's 280 calories. It's not his fault. He doesn't know that
yeah,
a chicken burger, what he's logged is actually just a burger itself, but he's just assumed because every time he's seen a chicken burger it's inclusive. But what actually the chicken burger he logged was just the burger itself, whereas I'm like, mate, you had a chicken burger, a bun, there was sauce on it. I was like, it's probably double, if not slightly more than that in terms of calories. This isn't a you issue, but
yeah,
so many people do that. They'll not log their oils that they're cooking with, they'll not
yeah,
log their milks in their coffee, they'll think that they're under eating, they're actually just under reporting. With that, they think calories don't work for them, so then they get attached to some form of like, oh, I'm going to have to do this restrictive diet because that's the only
yeah,
thing that works for me. They do it for long enough until they realise that they can't do it anymore, then have a binge, and ultimately, even if they did get a couple of weeks in and some decent progress, they can't sustain it anyway, which is this big circle of fuck to me. Thank you
yeah.
for coming to my TED talk.
Aye. Thanks, mate. Underreporting calories and underestimating calories is a biggie, especially when people are eyeballing it. I've got a client in the gym who's using ChatGPT to log his food, and I'm just don't know how I feel about it, mate, if I'm being perfectly honest. No, he's no weighing his food, right? So there's no serving sizes there. He mentioned to me the other day that he had three bananas as a snack, which I've never had anybody having three bananas
Hydrated as
back
fuck.
to back in
Yeah.
my life. Oh, what a fucking solid job that would have been. And he logged it through Chat GPT and it showed him 190 calories. And I was like, yeah, you're probably
Mm.
at least an extra 100 in there. And taking photos of his plate and then Chat GPT's kind of estimating calories. Now that this is not a bad thing because he's still tracking as such, so he's still unintentionally eating better than what he would have been had he not been loosely tracking. However, if there's no weighing involved, then you can sure as shit know that the oil that's getting used to cook stuff is going to be quite heavy. Lots of milk and tea. No serving sizes, so it's just a complete guessing game. Um, and I did say to him like when you don't start to see the changes that you're maybe expecting, come back to me and we'll talk about it. So one of those ones like I could say to him, let's not do this, let's not do that, but then how's he going to learn from his mistakes that way? So I'm leaving him to it, seeing how it goes. But yeah, please don't use AI to track your food. Maybe further down the line, but right now it's not accurate. I mean, MyFitnessPal is sometimes not fucking accurate as well, and that's people that manually input it. But leave it to let it grow a wee bit more before we go down the route of AI to track all your food, because I can see it happening soon.
So we'll go through the pros and cons of that then, since you brought it up. So the pros of him using AI is the fact that if he's consistent with it, at least it will give him a calorie number at the end of
Mhm.
each day. The problem is if it's giving him 190 calories for 3 bananas, it's probably at least 100 to 200 calories out.
Yeah.
What that can start to do is breed the belief that he is consuming, let's say it's 1,300 calories a day when actually he's consuming 2,400 calories a day.
Yep.
That can then very easily, when you start to look at the number side of things, you can get in your head that calories don't work for you. Again, it's not actually calories don't work for you, it's just you're being inaccurate with your calories.
Mhm.
The pros to it are the fact that it is using some form of consistent way of doing it. It's just not probably the most
Yep.
accurate. It always boils down to the more accurate you can be with your food, then the more accurate you can be with your results. I don't think AMD's particularly buzzing about logging the food, but again, I don't really know many people that are buzzing about doing steps, buzzing about going to the gym, buzzing about any of these things, but it's what benefit it brings you. And ultimately, if you're tired and sick or been tired and sick, then you probably, again, to spend 5 minutes tracking things probably isn't going to be the worst for them.
Aye. Like as you said, it is a skill. See at the start, it's going to be annoying. It is going to be a pain in the ass. You're going to get some things wrong, but you need to persist. Like you need to keep doing it because it will get easier. You will get more skilled at it. You will get better. You actually start to look at things and know the fucking macros in food. And that is the whole point of tracking your food, educating yourself in and around food. So you know roughly how much is in what, and then it means you can start intuitively eating as as you go on in the journey.
I've lost count of the amount of conversations I've had, and I always love the moment it happens where I'll speak to somebody in a consultation call. They'll tell me I get about 12,000 steps a day and I don't eat that much.
Aye.
A week in, they're going, oh, I didn't actually realise how many calories were in this, and I was having that at lunchtime. I didn't
Yeah.
actually realise that I'm not getting 12,000 steps, I'm actually getting 8,000 steps. I'm like, well, the fundamental problem is that we're not doing anything majorly different here. We're just getting you to be accurate about your input. So instead of you thinking you're not eating a lot, we're actually tracking it and finding that you are eating more than what you think you are. And actually, the reason that you're not losing weight is because you're moving a lot less than what you thought you were. But now that we've addressed the issue, we can then again put a plan in place so that you can start making progress. Which
Aye.
we're not reinventing the wheel, but we're just being accurate about what we're doing.
That's it. Accurate. People always overestimate how much they move and underestimate how much they eat.
Agreed. The only thing I would add to the AI tracking I do find quite beneficial is I would say for somebody within their week, the more accuracy we can have with your food, the better. The best way to be accurate about it is literally cooking things yourself, weighing,
Mhm.
measuring them raw. Like you do all that, then like realistically, there's no room for error. Really, like, sorry, there's no the margin for error is a lot smaller. Still will be margin for errors within that, but like it's a lot smaller, especially if you're new and you want to get results. But what I would say is where AI does come in as an objective tool that can be used quite well is if you're going out on a Saturday night and you've been presented with a plate that is like a chicken pasta or something, or a salmon and tagliatelle or something like that can range from 800 calories to 1800 calories. And more often than not, if me or you or anybody is in that and you've got a certain amount of calories to hit, you're like, oh, I'll go for the 800 calorie option because it can't be more than 800 calories. Surely not. I've seen bigger pastas than that before. Whereas actually it's probably somewhere in the middle. It's probably like 12 or 1300
Mhm.
calories, but you're like, I can't be. I'll just put it down as whatever. I'm only having it once. What AI can do is give you more of an objective view of it. So, like, whilst it can't be 100% accurate, what it can do is look at it and give you more of an objective view of it in the sense that it can go, do you know what, Gary? The salmon tagliatelle that you're having isn't 800 calories, is likely to be in the range of 11 to 1300 calories based on what I'm seeing. Within that, you can go, right, okay, fair enough. At least I have a more objective view. But if you're doing
Yeah.
that for all of your inputs, you're in trouble because realistically, a banana you can get, man, I was in Bali. I don't know what you were like when you were traveling and stuff, but like I seen some bananas that I've never seen how small they were before, and like yes, they could have been 60 calories a banana, but then like AI is not going to be able to detect, especially if it's not. AI is only as good as what you give it, in the sense that like if you give a picture of banana based on your hand as well, it probably can give you a better description of how many calories
Mhm.
in a banana because it's got something to measure it against. But if you just have a picture of a banana with nothing in the background to be able to compare size to, ChatGPT is going to go like, well, an average banana is probably between 60 and
Yeah.
50 calories. It's probably in the middle somewhere, whereas it doesn't know the size of it really.
Aye, 100%, and that's it. That's why I'm saying maybe leave that out for now before
Agreed.
you decide to start using it. We were speaking about this just before we started recording, but let's talk about GLP-1s, Manjaro, fat loss injections. We have touched on this on the podcast before, but obviously that was a few months ago, and I mean it's just fucking everywhere now. I actually think I seen a news article the other day that they're going to start handing it out in supermarkets over in the UK.
What's your thoughts?
Um, I'm not against it, right? I'm not against what it does. What I am against is the misuse of it. People are seeing it as a quick fix, which it can be in the short term, but what about long term?
Yep.
What about the habits that actually have got you to where you're at in the first place? If you don't do anything to fix them, if you don't do anything to change them, then you're going to end up back at square one. Plus, if you plan on staying on Manjaro for the rest of your fucking life, then you're probably in for a very rough time because we do not know the long-term effects of Manjaro yet. What they have in the body when it is being misused. Obviously, it's an injection that was made for people that are diabetic. It's to
Fucking
stop the the hunger for diabetic people. Or pre-diabetic. Is it pre-diabetic?
I don't know what's funny because Jen is diabetic. She's not been described to Manjaro.
No, no, no. I don't. I think it's for like overweight diabetic
Yeah, I'd
people.
say with like the blood sugars are probably a bit more
Yeah,
fluctuating, so I suppose slowing down. I don't. I'll be honest. I'm not overly versed in the effects of it on diabetes, but I know what it's used for in terms of weight loss or how it's been misused at the moment in terms of weight loss. Used and misused probably is the words.
let me see. What are no? What are they for? Just googling it quickly. So, it's not just if you're diabetic, then you get a GPL-1. It's to treat type 2 diabetes and obesity. So it's for people that have basically got diabetes through their own lifestyle and diet. It's to help them manage that. It's to help them control their hunger, to control their weight, which would make sense.
Do you know how Joe Rogan's got Jamie, who does all his research in the background?
Yeah,
He's like, "Oh, Jamie, you can just have a wee look at that." I was like, "Me and you need to employ a Jamie version." Just
we do. We need a Jamie. Aye, we need a Jamie. But yeah, essentially for people that's got type 2 diabetes, if they've got to that point through their own lifestyle and their own kind of diet and stuff like that, and people that are kind of bordering on or are obese essentially. But nowadays it's just everywhere you can buy it from fucking everybody's gran. It seems like you can just buy it for absolutely anybody. I was speaking to someone I know very well a couple of weeks ago, and she said, "Oh, no, she's not obese by any stretch of the imagination. She's not even overweight by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, I use the fat loss jags every now and again. Every now and again, if you want to lose a few pounds. That's not how it works. That's not how it should be used. If you are to use it, if you are to go on it, please do it in a safe manner. Make sure you're working on the habits along with the injections. As I said, I'm not against it. You just need to make sure you're doing it right, essentially. You need to be safe. You need to make those habitual changes.
I I think right. If we look at anything that increases in effect without doing much, so you look at if you look at muscle growth, you can take steroids and different variations of
Mhm.
steroids to grow muscle. They actually have the opposite of not the opposite of steroids, but you also have drugs that prevent muscle wastage, which were now SARMs, selective
Mhm.
androgen receptors. So you've got things that grow muscle, you've got things that preserve muscles. All of like so. Anabolic steroids have been proven that the biggest issue alongside them is the fact that they change your hormones, and when changing hormones, they have an equal and opposite reaction. So as much as your testosterone comes up, your estrogen comes up. You can either cycle that for life, and again, you can run the risks that come alongside having extra tissue in your body and the demands that has in your heart, or you can cycle it, which a lot of people do. But the problem is your estrogen's then high and your testosterone stops producing, which then is why most men who do that have the potential of getting bitch tits, mood swings, and everything else alongside it. You can look at SARMs, and to be fair, there's none of them, with the exception of one brand of it that I think's passed into human trials because they've all been shown that they cause cancer. So at the moment, whilst you can buy them, they literally say on the side of the tub, not fit for human consumption. So like, take with that what you will. But you then look at, like, if you wanted to improve your cardiovascular health, you like, by health endurance, you can take clenbuterol, which again does open your airways, but again has shown to have a massive effect in terms of like what that does in terms of your heart, your thermogenic rate, and does burn fat. I can't for the life of me. Again, it's a new drug. I'm not going to, like, I am technically a sports scientist, so I was going to say I'm not going to pretend I'm a scientist. Technically, I am, but I've not experimented with that. But I would say it's very unlikely that you can take this without having an adverse effect of some sort. Like, there's nothing in life that comes without cost. So I would say the likelihood, from what I can think, is if it's slowing down your foods that you're having, we eat for a reason. We need nutrients. We need to maintain muscle mass. We need energy. I think if you're doing that, then yes, we need to do it in a way that still follows the rules of giving your body enough. My biggest issue that I have seen now that it's been about longer is people misusing it, in the sense that you see it's almost bred into worse habits. Like, they have bad habits, but now they can get weight loss, they almost get worse. Where
Yeah.
I've genuinely got a guy that I follow who literally going, "Oh, I'm having this before I take my weight loss injection. It's like fucking 2 cupcakes or whatever, and then it's a
Yeah.
sausage roll." I was speaking to you about that before the podcast. I had a girl who messaged me saying, "Oh, I'm taking Manjaro, I'm losing this amount of weight per week. What can you do for me?" I'm like, well, well, what is it you want to do? Why are we
Yeah.
having this conversation in the first place? I think deep down you know the fact that, like, and I've seen one that's, I've got the wee man currently.
Was that the wee fella?
He's currently pulling every wire from the laptop.
I
I'm
thought it was just Jen coming in doing Jen things.
No, but she should be looking after. Hold on, I'm going to pause this for a sec. Oh, yeah. Paused this because the wee man was there, but I actually can't remember what we were saying.
Oh, fuck.
I was just about, yeah, I had the girl who got in contact with
Oh,
us
yeah,
about,
yeah, yeah. What can you do for me?
what can you do for me? And I'm like, well, we're having this conversation for a reason. I was like, I gave my justifications in the way that I'm like, well, this is from my beliefs what Manjaro does, and obviously it works from a weight loss point of view, which is obviously working. I'm not going to pretend that what I can do does anything differently from that, but the method in which it happens is very different. And in terms of, like, again, preserving muscle mass, making sure that you've got energy, making sure that you actually, you know what, are in control of your habits, so you're not depending on it for life. That's what we can do. But then again, got
That's not as
sexy.
um it's not as sexy sounding as quick weight loss, quick fat loss. And that's the thing with like coaches and stuff as well that we've got to contest with. Like, being a personal trainer doesn't just automatically mean that you're a rapid weight loss coach. Now, while some people do market themselves that way, that's not, in my opinion, the be all end all or the ins and outs of actual personal training and actual coaching. We coach you through how to actually change your life, give you the habits that's going to last you a lifetime, rather than it just being an 8 or a 12 week cookie cutter rapid fat loss program that ChatGPT could fucking make for you. Speaking of AI.
Well, I was going to say I had a conversation with somebody yesterday who is taking Manjaro, and they spoke to me about the reason that they went on it was actually because of the failed attempts they'd had with fitness programs and people before, and whilst they had limited success, they always had barriers in that themselves. Now, they admitted there were certain things that they struggled with and everything else. The conversation that I had with them is like, when you pay somebody, and again, personal training is not cheap. Like, it shouldn't be, to be honest, if you're good at what you do. But the problem is it's an unregulated industry and there's no guarantees. It does take both a reliance on the coach to be a good coach, but also takes reliance on you doing the thing as well. And there's a lot of trust. And the more scar tissue you take in from things you've tried before into that, the harder it can be to do that. But the problem with what we offer is it's a service and not a product. Well, there's no guaranteed outcome. Like, it is dependent
Yeah.
on variables. Now, the upside is if it works, happy days. You've done the thing that's going to set you free for life. The downside is no matter how good a coach you are, me or you have had people who've not worked out before, and that can be at different points. In the fact that we've had careers that it might have been at the start of our career and we just didn't know how to deal with a situation because it was different to what we've seen, or it could have been a completely them issue where they've actually thought they liked the idea. I've looked people in the eye this year who've told me, two of them, that they knew they were going to die if they didn't make changes, and they still, no matter how deep we dug into it, there was resistance to change. And I spoke to Kira, who I've spoke to before, but I've also spoke to guys who work in psychology, mental health, and everything else about the changes and why there was resistance there. And they're like, this isn't a you thing. This is actually a belief that they can't change. Like, they
Yeah.
have in their head that they are either not worthy of change or that they can't change. And the problem is when you give them anything, even how deep you dig, there's always a resistance there, but deep down they doubt themselves and their ability to be able to do it and they can't handle it. So realistically, it's never going to work for them in the first place, which is where I think Manjaro probably for those people, because two of them
Yep.
genuinely carry enough body weight that one of them was in particular said they were scared that they weren't going to make it to 30. That wasn't enough for them to want to not want to change their behaviours, but for them to be able to change their behaviours. I think taking Monjaro and getting them out of that red zone and hopefully getting to the point where instead of being 190 kilos, they get to 150, 140,
Yep.
130.
Yep.
At that point, when they realise that change is possible for them, and to be fair to them, I still message them frequently and help them out, even though they're not a client anymore, about managing calories and everything else. They're in a far better place because they've seen progress down to that. Now, that's where I think it can be helpful, but they have taken on board habits and routines that can help. That's where I think it could be helpful. But if you are Susan, who's 65 kilos and works at an office desk and wants to go on holiday and drop 6 kilos, and it's just the fact that you don't have any management of your weekends and don't know how to say no to donuts at lunchtimes for a couple of weeks, probably not the best taking Manjaro because it's just
Yeah.
going to breed this yo-yo of taking a drug.
That's it. Taking it, going on holiday, coming back, not taking it, going to a wedding, coming back, not taking it. Starting like a yo-yo up and down cycle. For people that are taking Manjaro, what would you recommend that they do to stay healthy, to stay on track? For me, it just looks the same as if you weren't taking Manjaro.
Well, if you look at it, let's take everything away. Like, all it's doing is slowing down how hungry you are and your appetite.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, like, chronically underfeeding somebody will absolutely tank their metabolic rate, their thyroid function, their energy availability, and their muscle mass. So what you need to do is the opposite of that. You need to have nutrient dense foods. You need to still have a calorie target. You need to have a protein target. I would still incorporate resistance training
Yep.
within that. As long as you're doing those things, I genuinely don't have an issue. I'm not here to fight against AI. I'm not here to fight against Manjaro. It's more of a case everything has a downside to it, and it's just more of a case as long as you're putting things in place that it's a great power comes great responsibility thing from Spider-Man. It's just you need to make sure that you're not being a dickhead. Like, if
100. That's it. Don't be a dickhead.
completely different context, but like if they came out with a drug tomorrow that said that you can't get a hangover when you're drinking, like it's physically impossible, does that make the problem any better or any worse? You'll probably find that instead of like curing drink issues, you'll find that people are drinking 7 nights a week because they can do it before work. Like,
Yeah.
great power comes great responsibility. Like, there's nothing that comes in life for free. There's consequences to everything.
Oh, think about a drug butt that would help you not have a hangover the next day. Mate,
But
you don't know what a hangover's like anymore.
Yeah, but the reason I don't know what hangover's like is 3 months into having Finn, I woke up one day and couldn't function, and I was like, it's the first day in my life I've actually got to the point where I've had the actual fear. I spent the entire day in bed, but feeling like I was expending energy on all these possibilities, outcomes of what, how hard fucking breathing is, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done at that point because you know what, not for it. But I know I've made up a hypothetical situation there, but the problem is if you do have that, the problem that comes alongside that is with the calorie impact that people have with alcohol, you'll probably find that like people are going to get fatter, they're going to spend more money on it, but also on that they're going to make poorer decisions. So as much as you can't get hungover, if you're drinking at a higher frequency of like a higher rate of frequency, you're probably going to do more risky behaviour and do things that are probably going to get you in trouble anyway, which means that like again, it's a hypothetical situation. We're going into like an episode of Black Mirror here, but it's just more of a everything has consequences.
Yeah, everything has consequences. Don't be a dick. And if
Yeah,
you're taking Manjaro, still need to get your protein in. You still need to get your steps in. We still recommend doing a wee bit of resistance training because you want to hold on to as much muscle mass as possible. Otherwise, you're going to lose a fuck ton of it, and you're essentially just going to shrink to a smaller version of the person that you already are. And that's not really what people want to lose weight for. People don't want to lose weight just to be stick thin. Some people do, but most people do want to be toned. Most people that I've come across, they want to be toned. They want definition, and without muscle, you're not fucking getting that.
I think what I'd like to kind of wrap this up in is if we boil it down, there is an ever growing belief, I think, amongst people, or lack of belief, that health and fitness can change their life. Like,
Hmm.
people have tried more things and
Yep.
people have got less results. It's You're then coupling that with the fact on social media, like you're seeing, again, to wrap it all up, you're seeing distorted body images. You're also seeing things, if you look at, probably if you've looked at Manjaro once, there's a good chance with targeted ads that you're now going to see that consistently. You're then going to see people who've got results from that. You're then going to go into this echo chamber of this is, you've then come up with a bias that that's what works for you because nothing's worked for you in the past. I'm not here to fight against whether Manjaro works or not. What I'm here to tell you that health and fitness is a brutally fair game. What you've done before could simply be part of it your fault. And I think sometimes we need to take that on board. If you've gone for completely cheap products all the time that are group programmings and you're doing that where it's not being individualized to you, then look, there's a chance it's not worked for you because it's not changed to pivot. You've worked around the
Yeah.
program rather than a program working around your life. I think giving it a go of doing the opposite is probably, again, worth a shout. But again, I suppose you could argue if we're being completely unbiased about it, that could be in my favour to say that because that's the product I sell. But at the same time, I think using these things, they do come with a cost, and it's not to say that not to do it. It's just more so be aware that it's not a free dinner, really.
Aye.
Ironically,
I think, but people's awareness will be what's the word I'm looking for? People won't really care about the long-term effects because they are seeing the short-term results. Do you know what I mean? They want the short-term results because they feel like it's going to make them feel better in the short term, which it will. So that far outweighs the long-term issues if there was any to crop up. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. If you feel terrible about yourself, I'm not here to tell you not to do it. Like if you genuinely, if this is what helps you feel better about yourself, I'm not. But again, I say this to the clients I have. My genuine care for you isn't really how you look in 12 weeks' time. I'd be buzzing.
Yeah.
I know you've come for results, I'm here to get to them, but I'm more concerned about how you look in a year's time, that you have the habits, routines, and structures that are going to get you to the point where you don't just get in the best shape possible,
Yeah.
you know how you've got there. And I'm not saying that to be wishy washy, but like, it is a case where I'm like, I'm genuinely more concerned about the human being behind it than anything else because I've also been the coach at times who was like, I'm going to put all this in place, and we've got somebody almost forced them into a result. And you look
Mm.
at them after they've learned nothing, they've got into worse shape again, and you're like, I've not really helped them at all. I've actually just got a result from them, and then
Yeah.
that's there's an argument to say that's what they paid for, but also I'm like, that's really not what my ethos is about. It's about creating better human beings. We wouldn't be doing a job. I can't hand on heart. If some of the people listening to us right now is short term results, that's fine. I'm not here to say no. I've been there myself. I know what it feels like to be in good shape. I know what it feels to be in terrible shape. I fortunately or unfortunately for me, I know the habits to keep me in good shape, and it's not. I can't tell you how you feel, but if you're in that much pain and that's the only way you think you can do things, that's fine, do it. But we are within our rights to go, well, I don't want to be looking back in 10 years' time and not said what I've had to say. And in 10 years' time, you're wondering why you've got crippling pain because you've got no muscle mass, or that you physically can't eat anything without ballooning on 2 kilos because your metabolic rate's shot to the absolute shit. Like, that you're having to be in debt in your later years because you're dependent on a drug, that's fine. But again, that's a consequence, and that's all I'm here to say.
Mic drop.
I fucking can't. If I drop this mic, mate, it's going to have a almighty thud. So
Mic drop, mate. That was an incredible way to just kind of close that off and summarize it essentially. And hopefully people listening, if they are thinking about taking it, if they are currently taking it, hopefully it does give them a few things to think about. If you do need any help, any advice, do not hesitate to send me or Kyle a message. As I said, we are not against it. We just want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for a healthier outcome rather than just abusing it.
the only thing I'd add to that is if you disagree with anything we've said,
Oh yes.
we also would like to hear from that too. Not in the sense that we're going to be here for an argument, but I think it's important to
Fucking
hear.
square goal.
I think it's important to hear how your experience is and what your thoughts are.
Yep.
And again, it only helps the conversation long term. So feel free to open dialogue in that. We'll have
Aye.
a conversation.
This is I love this one because to be completely transparent, me and Kyle don't know everything. That's the thing. Like we are still constantly evolving and learning on a daily basis. So if there's something that you maybe know about the drug that we've not mentioned or that we are completely unaware of, then please fucking let us know.
100%. If you're not looking back at things you've said before and are slightly embarrassed about them, then you're not progressing. So there's definitely things I've said that I'm like, oof, I
Oh man.
probably look back at the podcast episodes 1 to 50, 1 to 66, 1 to 65. I've probably said something within them. I'm like, I probably disagree with it now. I'd have an argument with myself. But for now, my beliefs are what they are, and I'd love to be challenged on them because I'm like, I'd love to have that
Mhm.
conversation. But and I'm sure Gary would too. But yes, get your fighting patter over to us, and we'll have a squared go.
Yeah, fucking give us it. Give us it. Anything else that you want to dive into before we wrap this one up?
No, no, mate, my
There
plan.
wasn't really any structure to this one again. It was just fucking
Well, this is week
free
one
for all.
back, and there might be a few restructures in the future, but like that's a conversation that we'll have. But I think just getting back at it's the big thing. Gary, where can they find you?
Instagram at gmac_health and fitness. Kyle, where can they find you?
Kyle underscore biofitness. Still getting emails actually from people saying, "Hi, Kyle underscore biofitness one. We recently came across your profile." And I'm like, "You obviously didn't recently come across Eden because I've got that one in there for months." So yes, Kyle underscore
Bastards.
biofitness.
Thank you, Dave and Toby. We've not gave Dave and Toby a shout out in 2 months because we've not done a fucking episode in 2 months. But thank you, Dave and Toby, for the music, as always.
I thank Dave and Toby every single day of my life just for being legends. So,
I'm sure Dave and Toby will appreciate that. But yes, folks, see you all in the next one.
see you.
Bye.